Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing checking back in with y'all, man. What's happening? Say, I was checking out the newly released ESPN rankings. I think they were just released today. I mean, at least this is my first time seeing them today. You know, and I was very impressed with the how they arranged these particular rankings. I felt like, you know, the last set of ESPN rankings that I seen were a little off in various different weight classes. But also you have to factor in that, you know, some things have been moved around, some big fights have taken place, you know, so I think you definitely got to look at it from all angles. But as far as like, you know, from most of the rankings that I've seen on different websites and different boxing outlets and things like that, I really like these ESPN rankings. I think they really got a lot of stuff right when you look at from the heavyweight division all the way down. You know, you look at middleweight, you look at 168, 175, 147, 154. I mean, they really got it right. One thing that stood out to me though was with the 147-pound division with Errol Spence Jr. at number 1. Of course, I definitely agree with that. Manny Pacquiao being at number 2, I agree with that. Terence Crawford being at number 3, I felt like they could have put Shawn Porter at number 3 and then Crawford at 4. But I felt like that made sense. You know, you could argue with having Crawford at 3 and having Shawn Porter at 4 if you basing it just overall, if you're basing it on overall body of work, skill level, if you factoring in everything outside of just 147, which I'm a believer that it should only be focused on that particular weight class, what you have done recently and what you are currently doing in that particular weight class. You know, but there have been people that openly duck Terence Crawford, like Keith Thurman. Shawn Porter and Terence Crawford got some friendship that I ain't really know about until recently, that they got going on to where it's kind of holding off a fight from those guys. You know what I'm saying? And people have openly ducked Terence Crawford, you know, so I think you got to factor that in as well. So I'm cool with Terence Crawford being number 3, Shawn Porter being number 4, and they got Keith Thurman at number 5, which I would probably put Ugas at 5 right now because he's actually active and fighting and, you know, seeking big fights and trying to fight the best and, you know, putting on good performances and stuff like that, coming off of 2 wins. You know what I mean? Keith Thurman he came off of a sketchy victory versus Josesito Lopez, and then he got beat by Manny Pacquiao, which, you know, it ain't no shame in losing to Manny Pacquiao, you know, but he is coming off a loss. I felt like Yordenis Ugas should have probably got the nod at number 5, but I like those rankings. Now, 154, I was also paying a lot of attention to 154. Y'all know I love that division, man. That shit popping like motherfucking fish grease right now. They got Jamel Charlo at number 1. He made a big jump after going to get the victory from Tony Harrison, which I thought it made perfect sense. They got Jason Rosario at number 2, which I don't know. Even though, I mean, he is unified champion, so, you know, when J-Rock Williams had won his titles, he skipped up to, I believe, number 1 or number 2. So I ain't mad at that. You know what I'm saying? I'll take that. I'll take Rosario at number 2. They had, I believe, was it Jerry Hurd at 3 and then J-Rock Williams, or J-Rock Williams at 3 and then Jerry Hurd? I forget. But overall, I was really pleased with the rankings. You look at 160, they got Canelo number 1. They got Gennady Golovkin number 2, which, you know what I'm saying? I guess, you know what I mean? I guess you got to put him right there because neither Demetrius Andre or Jamal Charlo, no matter how good we think those guys are, neither of those guys have had any big fights, you know? So I ain't mad at that either. Heavyweight, they got Tyson Fury at number 1, which I think he rightfully deserved that position. I feel like Deontay Wilder should still be number 2. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not mad at them putting Anthony Joshua at number 3 because he is a 3 belt holder unified champion right now. lost against Andy Ruiz, got stopped in basically the same fashion that Wilder got stopped, and he came back. He boxed beautifully. He took his motherfucking belts back. He took his bike back, you feel me? Little motherfucker bullied him, stole his bike, you know what I'm saying? Robbed him for his bike. He went over there and got his shit back. You know what I mean? Respect. You know what I'm saying? So Anthony Joshua, I think you can make an argument for him to be number 2. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Deontay Wilder, number 3. You know, like I said, number 2 or number 3, because I feel like Deontay Wilder has been fighting the best. You know what I mean? He came off of beating Luis Ortiz twice, a great fighter. Had a draw with Tyson Fury, just lost to Tyson Fury, who Tyson Fury right now looks to be the most overall skilled, just the best overall fighter at the heavyweight division. You know, really can do it all in the ring. And he showed that Tyson, a.k.a. Big Stepper Fury, he showed that when he stepped to the brother Deontay Wilder, which is some shit that most motherfuckers is scared to do. Don't nobody want to step to Deontay Wilder, but Big Stepper went in there and stepped to Deontay Wilder. You know what I'm saying? So he deserved number 1, Joshua at number 2, Deontay Wilder at number 3. I ain't mad at that. You know what I'm saying? So whenever y'all get a chance, you know what I'm saying, go and check out the rankings, ESPN. Like I said, I feel like they got a lot of that right. You know what I'm saying? And this year, 2020, gonna be a big year. So expect for that shit to shake up even more. You know what I mean? Over the next coming months, you look at 135. 135 was a little tricky for me, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. When I look at the rankings and I see guys that I feel should be higher just based off of pure skill and ability, but then I look at resume, they ain't fought nobody. I get it. I understand. They got Lomachenko number 1. Makes perfect sense. He should be number 1. Teofimo Lopez coming off of a huge victory over Richard Comey. He should be number 2, and he's a belt holder. You got who they got? Pedraza at number 3. Now, this was kind of iffy, but then I'm thinking, well, Pedraza actually fought people. You know what I'm saying? He fought guys. And, you know, he had a couple of decent wins. Gervonta Tank Davis, I feel like they could have swapped out Tank and Pedraza, but at the same time, Tank ain't really did shit at 135. You know what I'm saying? They got Devin Haney like 5 or 6, which again, I understand. We know how good Devin Haney is and how great he could potentially be. But again, the brother ain't really had no big fights yet. Everybody ducking him at 135. That's known facts. We know that. You know what I'm saying? So, I really felt like they got it right on a lot of this shit, man. So I want y'all to check out this list if y'all haven't already looked at the ESPN rankings. And let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Contender Regime, boxing, I'll holler at y'all boys, man.